Hi, everyone. Wow. Just so excited to speak to all of you today. I'm a massive extrovert, so the fact I can feel 20,000 students' energy coming at me right now is just the best thing ever. So super excited to talk to all of you and just share some thinking around world-class performance. I love studying athletes. I love climbing mountains. I love swimming in the ocean with sharks, like just going to the absolute limits of what humans are capable of. Been really lucky to go to 3 Olympic Games as a commentator. And I want to share with you some really cool insights. I've got 3 very important ideas for you today, but I want to start with the story. And the story that I want to start with today is a story of a basketball player. His name's Kawhi Leonard. He's a pretty good basketball player, MVP of the NBA. And about 2 years ago right now, he was playing for the Toronto Raptors. And there was an incredible moment during the playoffs when the Toronto Raptors were playing Philadelphia 76ers. The series was tied. The game was tied, and it was 0.2 seconds left on the clock. This is what it looked like. It was pretty incredible. That's Kawhi in the white jersey taking the shot. You'll notice there's 0.2 seconds left on the clock, and Kawhi makes this shot, wins the game, wins the series, and the Raptors go on to win a world championship. It was absolutely incredible. Kawhi performing to the limits of what he was capable of, hitting the shots, doing that, like he was unstoppable in that playoffs. But what everyone seems to forget is that just 1 year before, Kawhi was with the San Antonio Spurs, and things were not going well. He was injured. He was not getting along with his teammates. He was feuding with the medical staff, and he wasn't getting along with management. And it got so bad that they actually traded him to the Toronto Raptors, even though he was a previous most valuable player for the entire league. Now, when that trade was made and he arrived in Toronto, Masai Ujiri, the GM, the general manager for the Toronto Raptors, made one phone call. And the phone call that he made was to Alex McKechnie. Now, Alex McKechnie is the director of sports science for the Toronto Raptors. And Masai said to Alex, he said, Alex, you just became the most important person in the Toronto Raptors organization. I need you to rehabilitate Kawhi. And what he did was he took Kawhi back to basics. He rebuilt his ankle mobility. They trained up his calves to make his calves stronger so that he could jump more effectively. In order to fix his knee, they strengthened up his quadricep muscles. Then he increased his core strength and went back to basics on how he did the simplest things in his game, jump shots, layups, and ultimately they implemented something during the season called load management. They didn't allow him to play any back-to-back games, and they kept him to 20 minutes or less in the games so that when he arrived at the playoffs, he could unleash performances like this one, hitting game-winning shot after game-winning shot after game-winning shot, dragging the Toronto Raptors to excellence. Now, here's the magic. The magic is what they did was they set him up to be able to perform to his absolute limits, the limits of what he was capable of, and get into flow, get into the zone. And that is what unleashes our capabilities. And what I want to explain to all of you today, a very specific pathway to get there. And I'm a scientist, I'm a researcher. I love going inside the human body and studying how the brain works, studying how the body works. So I want to show you the physiology behind what Kawhi did. Now, if I was to take all of you and to stick electrodes all over your head and measure the electrical activity inside your brain as you do a bunch of different tasks, let's say school, music, drama, to-do list, email, whatever it happens to be, I'd be able to make a whole bunch of measurements and measure the electrical activity inside your brain. And there are generally 5 different types of brain activity and brainwaves. When you're sleeping, the brainwaves get created are delta brainwaves. They're very, very slow. If we go a little bit faster, that theta brainwaves are created when you're creative, when you're drawing, when you're playing music, when you're creative writing. Alpha brainwaves are created when you're learning, when you're studying, when you're reading books that you're really into. Beta brainwaves are when you're hustling and performing and going and doing, like racing around, just getting stuff done, talking to your friends. And then the highest level the peak experience, the magical moments, Kawhi hitting the game-winning shot, you playing music on stage, you figuring out the math problem, you doing what you love to do at the highest level, that's gamma waves. Now, in the Kawhi Leonard context, what happened with Kawhi was that when he was with San Antonio, he was in beta, hustle, 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 go, 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 push, 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 no breaks. And he got tired, he got injured. And I think, frankly, that's where we're all at right now after 14 months of coronavirus. We've all just been pushing it, go, 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 relentlessly nonstop. And we are all tired and burned out and scared and anxious. What he did when he arrived in Toronto was different. He slowed down. He thought about what he was doing. He came up with a new strategy. Ultimately, that set the stage for him hitting these beautiful game-winning shots by being in a gamma brainwave state, which is what I'm really interested in for all of you. Now, I don't think you need to play basketball, but I am super interested in you getting into moments of magic, peak experience, you being in flow, you being in your own gamma state, because when you're in gamma states, your brain works to its true potential. You're gathering information, you're processing it, and you're doing what you do at the highest level, whether you're a swimmer and you're flying through the pool and going fast, or you're on your bike and you're in the zone and you're going around obstacles and you're crushing it, or maybe you're on stage and you're a performer someday when we're all allowed to do performances again, and you're in character and you're crushing the performance and dragging the audience along with you. That's what I want for all of you. Now, there's 3 key things you need to know in order to get into the state. And I want to tell you a little story about how I got into the state so that you can do it as well. And then we'll wrap up. So a few years ago, I went to Chimborazo volcano in Ecuador. Stunningly beautiful spot, absolutely magic. We chose to climb Chimborazo volcano in Ecuador because if you consider the fact that the Earth is not a circle, it's actually an oval, and it's wider at the equator, Chimborazo is the furthest point from the center of the Earth. It's actually 2 kilometers further from the center of the Earth than Mount Everest, and we wanted to be the closest humans to the stars. And so we traveled there, we trained there, we climbed, we did all sorts of practice. It was incredibly difficult. It was really, really harsh conditions. You start the climb from the graveyard of the people that tried to climb before you but didn't make it, so it is scary. So we wanted to do everything absolutely right. So there were 3 very specific things that we did to try to get into the zone, to try to stay in the zone, to try to get into gamma states so we could perform to our limits. And I believe these are 3 things that you can easily do as well in any aspect of your life. The first one is, I want you to be in the zones. This is the peak experience pathway, so you can embrace the extraordinary and you can perform to your limits. I want you to have your body in the zone with more energy than tension. So as we were climbing, we were going higher and higher and higher. We had to walk across this ski slope. And it's a really good example because here you can't be tense. If you're tense, you slip, you fall. All you're trying to do is relax and do what you need to do. So every time you're in a performance moment, more relaxation, less tension. Second thing is, I would love for you to craft your purpose, because the magic behind getting into the zone, the magic behind getting into magic moments, the magic behind peak experience is that you're doing what you love to do, what is meaningful to you. And what's meaningful to me is pushing the limits of what humans are capable of. I love climbing things. I love swimming with sharks. I love running across deserts. I love doing that because I learn how to climb higher. I learn what it takes to go up mountains in the middle of the night so that I can share that information with all of you. That way, when you get to the summit of whatever it is that you're happening to, in my case, it's climbing mountains, you can look up and you can be the closest human to the stars. That's the scene that we saw on the top of Chimborazo when we got up there in the middle of the night, 20,000 plus feet above the ground. And whether it's me looking at the stars or it's you looking into the eyes of a loved one, are you swimming really, really fast? Are you riding your bike really, really fast? Are you playing music? Are you making artwork? Are you doing math? I don't care. I just want more of this in your life. So craft your purpose, find the things that are meaningful to you, and do more. Now, the final piece of the puzzle is I want you in a space of love, compassion, and gratitude. And Jeff Martin just led us through a whole series of thinking, culminating with the idea of more love. And that's exactly what we felt at the top of the summit. This is us the next day. You can see how fired up we are and how much we all just came together as a team, and we'll be friends for the rest of our lives. I want more of this in your life as well. So to summarize everything I was trying to say to you today, I want more peak experience for all of you, more magic moments, 3 things. Body in the zone, more energy, less tension. Your brain focused on things that are meaningful to you. Do more of what you love. And when you're in that space of love for your teammates, love for others, compassion for others, and gratitude for how incredible life can be sometimes, that makes everything possible. You enter into gamma states and you have moments like this in your life. That's my daughter on the top of a mountain very, very recently, and just her pushing her limits. So that was my message for you today. I hope that makes sense. Really excited to have spent a little bit of time with you today and to share some ideas with you. We're just looking for more peak experiences, more magic moments, more flow states, more gamma states that you can absolutely love life and crush it at whatever it is that you do that you love the most.